Good evening everyone. It's 27th of August 2026, Thursday, 4:20 p.m. here. In this video I'll be talking about why there are 12 notes on piano. I'm talking about piano and musical notes eventually. Why there are 12 notes on piano and I have an electric keyboard, but that big piano where 8 octave piano, it starts from A0 key to C8 key. I do have the diagram. I don't have that piano, I have electric keyboard. But when I was tuning in instruments, be it violin, ukulele, guitar, I realized the frequencies that they have used, these are not in continuity. Like if suppose for example, suppose if the C3 has 130.81 hertz frequency, C sharp 3 has 138.59 hertz frequency. So I was thinking while tuning in, if there is a gap, why they have jumped from this frequency to this frequency, and why we cannot add a new note. Because when I was trying to enhance my singing myself, watching YouTube videos, and sometimes whenever I get time, whenever in mood, I just try to sing to please myself. So I came across one thing, Indian name for that is mean, that is joining one note to another note, covering all the frequencies in between, like sa re ga ma pa. Now sa to pa, sa pa sa. This is staccato kind of thing, that is not in join. It's not covering the sa re ga ma and then pa. It's not covering all those frequencies. So it's like sa re sa ga. There are so many nice YouTube tutorials, and when I decided to play it on piano, then I was like, I cannot play this in continuity on piano, even on harmonium, because these keys, they don't include all the frequencies which as a human being we can produce with our voice. These instruments cannot produce. They jump from one note, one key to another key, and these keys have a frequency gap. They jump and they are not in continuity. Like, you know, like there is a 1 and 2. There is no 1.01, 1.02, 1.03 kind of frequencies like that. So it's not in continuity. It's jumping from 1 to 8. There is no 2, 3, 4, 5. It is like that. These keys are arranged, and these keys are made up on piano like that. But on violin you can just cover, you can play mint on that, M-E-E-N-D. So from that I realized these frequencies human voice can produce, and if human ears can identify, because sometimes whenever I was singing in between, especially D sharp 4 and E, I was just trying to join these two, and there was some note in singing. It was coming in between that D sharp 4 and E4. So I was not able to play that thing. I was able to sing that, but I couldn't find the key on the piano. Then I realized it was like a magic for me in my head. I felt like there is some key, we can add it here, because I can produce it with my voice sound as being a human, and it is not there on the piano. So it can be added on the piano, definitely. And why it is not there? So even from the beginning, I have always been thinking outside the box, living outside the box in a very good way, in a supernatural way, and in a healthier way, not in immoral or unhygienic or unhealthy way. But I have always been doing so many things differently, but naturally. It's not deliberate attempt to be different. It happened naturally to me, and it happens naturally to me. And even this thing happened like magical. It was a magical moment for me. The thought came to my mind, and then I started searching human frequency, sound frequencies that we can identify, we can listen to from 20 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz, that is 20 to 20,000 hertz. So these instruments start from that range, around that range, 20, 30, 40. It depends what kind of instrument, because every instrument has its range. And piano, it covers 20 hertz to 4180 hertz. And why it is so? Because beyond 4000 hertz, our human ear is not able to identify the pitch difference that well. I have not experimented that. This is what I have seen on Google information, because I don't have the physics books and I don't have time also to go through the books. So whatever information, doubts I was having in my mind, the creativity I was having in my mind, I wanted some support, the scientific support. So I was referring some Google articles to resolve my doubts, and I was very happy that I understood why there are 12 basic notes. Because it starts from, if you take piano as a human being, see, there is something called as just noticeable difference, J and D. This term you can just Google if you want to know about it. Just noticeable difference, J and D. So below 500 hertz, our range is 20 hertz to 20,000 hertz, 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. So for frequencies below 500 hertz, ordinary human beings can differentiate frequencies with 3 hertz difference. Like if it is 130.81 hertz, when these are separately played and not simultaneously played, there are things which can be identified when they are simultaneously played, but if they are separately played, we cannot identify the difference in that, in those frequencies. So I came to know from this information from the Google. I was just going through my doubts, my questions, it was resolving, and from further information was added to my mind. So if C3 note, if you play on the piano, C3 130.81 hertz, then C sharp 3 138.59 hertz. Now there are how many, what was the difference? Almost 7.5, 7 to 8 hertz difference in between these two. Now if ordinary human beings can differentiate a pitch by 3 hertz, at least 3 hertz below 500 hertz, so we can add a note here. We can add at least one note here between 130.81 hertz to 138.59 hertz, and that's around 135.820 hertz. I just wanted the middle point, so I just added them and divided by 2, and I just came to this number 135.20 hertz. So between C3 and C sharp 3, there can be C3 new note, C3 N note, and that is 135.20 hertz. We can just add it on piano. I just started from C3, but when I went down, I came across that already the people who were intelligent in the past, whoever discovered these things, experimented on the sound frequencies and the musical notes and instrument invention, that person had already noted this difference. And between A0, you'll see the difference on the first octave on the piano, that is of 2.5, at least 2.5 to 3 hertz difference. And that's why there are these 12 notes are there in that octave, these 12 notes, and you cannot add further notes there unless you are very very musically trained and musically gifted. Then only you can add. But for ordinary human beings, for the ordinary human, average human sake, they have taken the difference between 20 hertz to, I'll just have to see, 20 hertz to, let me pause and just see. Yeah, so if you start from 20 hertz, they have started from 27 hertz, 27.5 on piano, because for average here and there difference, it's not like this 20 number is average. So they have taken this 27E0 first key on the piano, that is 27.500, and A1 is 55. So almost 2 point something difference between each and every note, and below that they have not taken any note. Like you can add if you want to add, if you are musically gifted, but for the sake of the average human beings, they have taken the difference of 2 hertz, not even 3 hertz, because 3 hertz, usually what happens, as you go down, as the frequency goes down, the pitch difference is better. Just noticeable difference is noticeable difference for human ear is better. And if the pitch goes higher, then the pitch difference for human ear, for human brain, is difficult. For example, for below 500 hertz it is 3 hertz, above 1000 hertz it is 5 hertz, and in between 500 to 100, 1000 somewhere it must be 4 hertz, and below 500 to between 250 something like that it must be 2 hertz, and then and so on. So they have taken the difference according to this Weber's law, that is delta F by F equals to K, that is delta F frequency change upon initial frequency F equals to K. That is Weber's fraction. So depending, that's the formula to get the just noticeable difference. So yes, and that's why it is said that if you just count from 20, that is A0 to A1, it's 28. Actually you can just go for, you can further add, and there can be 13 notes also. So if you want to have the basic notes, just get any frequency from 20 to 30. Let us suppose they have taken this 27.50 on piano. So 27.50, double it becomes 55. So in between them, so 27.50. So if we consider the just noticeable difference, below 500 it is how much, 3 hertz, and even below 250 hertz, suppose it is 2 hertz. So for this, if we keep a distance of 2 hertz between the notes, how many notes we can get in between 20, in this 27.50, from 27.50 to 55, how many notes we can get? Almost 12 notes you can get. Okay, 12 into 2, 24. Okay, 24. So difference is 27. So you can add one more note here somewhere. Like 24. Yeah, there can be 13 notes. There can be 13 notes, because 27.50, okay, 2 hertz difference. So yeah, we can have 13 notes, but they have kept 12 notes. Okay, so this is what I call thinking outside the box. Someone has decided, okay, these are how many notes? 12 basic notes, but there can be 13 notes. This is about the first octave. Okay, now the second octave. Now the second octave is from, it starts from A0 to A1. Now from A1 to A2. Okay, Now A2 is how much? A2 is 55. Double it. 110. Okay. So A1 to A2 it will be 110. So what's the difference? 55. Now there will be 55 by 2, 27.50. Again the 27.50 difference. So again you can add how many notes in between them? You can add how many? You can add again 13 notes in between these. This is about the second octave. Okay. Now third octave. I'm just talking about my own thing. According to my, if I was a musician, or if I wanted to add certain notes or invent certain notes to sing, to play on instruments, then I would do these things. Then third octave, then fourth octave. A0 is done, A1 is done, A2 is done. Now A3. Now it was 110, double the frequency, 220. Okay, 220 minus 110. Okay, from A0 to A1, that is 27.50 to 55. Okay, what's the difference between 55 and 27.50? It's 27.50 by 2, because we want minimum 2 hertz difference. So how many notes we can get? Around 30 notes we can get according to the Weber's law. Then this is about the first octave. Then second octave, from A1 to A2. Okay, this is between A1 to A2. So from 55, double it to 110. The difference between these two is 55. So 55 by 2. If we want again the difference of 2 or 2.5, again 2 difference will keep. 27 notes. We can add 27 notes, but okay, 27 notes. But these notes, these 13 notes, we are doubling the frequencies of these 13 notes. So we'll have 26 notes. And if the frequency difference in adjacent notes, if it is greater than 3 hertz or 2.5 hertz, then we can add one more note between A1 to A2. Okay, and it further goes on like this. To explain this, I have really calculated so much. Like, if you are really interested in contributing to music industry, you can just build a new musical instrument, or the same musical instruments, you can have the software, you can use the newer technologies like computer software and all, to introduce these different frequency notes that I have just calculated, depending upon the human ears, what sound frequencies human ears can differentiate, and accordingly you can just add these notes on the piano and you can just have your own music. You can have your own music using the computer software, because we have to build the new keys, and if you're adding new keys in each octave, you cannot have the same hand position like this, first finger, this finger in chords. Everything is going to change. You'll have to use 2 hands, and for that they have kept these notes, 12 notes or 30 notes, whatever they wanted to keep. So they have kept these notes, and they didn't introduce the newer notes in between these further octaves. Why they did this? To ease playing the instruments, to build instruments in a certain way that the hand position remains the same, and we can play the piano with both hands and the hand position remains the same, and it doesn't change it doesn't change from one octave to another octave. Like, first I say that it's like octave is like 8 notes. I'm not talking about 8 notes, I'm just talking about now 12 notes. Now I don't know what 12 notes is called, like double, triple, quadruple, something like that. So I don't know. I know that from A0 to A1 we can add we can have 13 notes, but they have someone have standardized it as 12 notes, so we'll just take into account those notes only. And that's why doubling those frequencies, even though new notes can be added in between these 12 notes or 13 notes according to me, even if these notes can be added, it's difficult to play. Like hand positions, it's going to be different for different octaves, so it will be very difficult, and it will be very complicated to play the piano and guitar and even other instruments. So many instruments, especially those which don't cover entire frequencies and jump from one frequency to one frequency, and that's why they say that there are 12 notes, there can be 13 notes, and there can be a repetition of these 13 notes according to me. From if you start from, you can take it as 20 hertz, 20, okay, and you can experiment. It's easy to experiment nowadays using these softwares. You can just grab any computer engineer and just tell that person who is very good in developing software and research activities, and also someone who is like musician and some doctors and physicists. These four people can they can just come together and they can just experiment with these sound frequencies and can just contribute to the music industry and singing industry, and we can have so many nice, even new frequencies. You never know what it's going to attract, what these new frequencies are going to attract. It's beautiful. It will be extremely beautiful. I'll just show what I have calculated. If you just take these 12 notes, no, it's not like that sat suroka, art suroka, whatever. It's not like that. It is just, I'm telling you, you don't be orthodox. You question, you be creative on your own, and then you realize you can change things, you can add things. You don't know what kind of what kind of inventions were there, and nowadays you have this. We can create music using computer softwares, and there is nothing wrong in that. It's beautiful. If we have technology, use it. If we have phone, we are using it. If we have computers, we are using it. We have certain technology. You just use it. You experiment it. You just build new instruments using certain wires. And yeah, maybe there are certain wires, and that's why certain frequencies have been chosen to make instruments. But we have electricity, we have certain different elements, we have different metals, so we can just build a new musical empire, a total beautiful magical musical empire with so many different frequencies, sound frequencies added, experimenting on them. It's beautiful, and I'll show you. So it's not like that. Just don't have this idea in your mind that only 12 notes are possible. No, you can have even more notes or less notes than this, and you can just keep on doubling them to keep the hand position same to ease it. Otherwise, if you're using the software, otherwise if you just come up an innovative idea how to you're very skilled, you can just manage different hand position for different octaves, then you can keep on adding every note that is recognizable by human beings, and you can just play it. Piano keyboard, it will be just very long then. So you'll have to just shift, you will just keep on jumping, you will have to move your body also. So I think all these things were taken into consideration, and then only it was decided to build a keyboard depending upon the human size and the spacing and the frequencies. Frequencies you can just change depending upon your wish, but someone standardized it and everyone follows it. Nothing wrong in that. But don't have fixed idea that there are only 12 notes. There are so many different notes, musical notes, that you're not playing and that you're not singing. In Mind, you can just touch these frequencies when you're singing. Mind is Hindi word. So you can just touch these frequencies and you can identify these frequencies, you can play these frequencies. Then why are you not building a new musical instrument, adding these frequency notes, and you building a new musical singing empire? So I'll show you what I have calculated. See, can you see? Can you see it? It's from A0 to C8. A0 they have taken as 27.50. See, you can take it as 20 hertz also. It's not like compulsory that you should take it 27.50 like here. You can take it as 20. Then B0 can be, or even names you can change, but we don't have to change everything. Then 20, you just take it as 20 hertz, and then 22 hertz or 23 hertz if you want 3 hertz difference. According to Weber's law, you see the differences from 20 to this, and you can just, they have fixed it from 27 to 55, but yeah, doubling it, 27.27 to 55. Yeah. So if you are from 20 hertz, then you will have how many? 20 to 40 hertz. If you if you start from 20 hertz, then doubling it will be 40 hertz, right? Then 40 minus 20 by 2, 10. So you can add 10 notes, okay? You can add 10 notes if you start from 20, because 20, if it is double, it becomes 40, and 40 minus 20 is 20. So if we have 20 difference between these two, so each note, if we space it at 2 hertz difference, then we will have how many divided by 2? 10. We will have how many notes? 10 notes, 10 basic notes, okay? That is 20, suppose A, then B is 22, C is 24, and so on, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 31, 32, 34, 36, 38, and 40, like that. How many there will be? On piano, they have started from this A0 note, that is 27.50, and doubling it becomes 55. So how many, what's the difference between them? 27.50, right? So 27.50, if you want to keep the difference of 2 hertz at least, according to the Weber's law here, in between these frequency range below 500 hertz, suppose it's 2 hertz, then we can get 13 notes, but they have, you know, went for 12 notes. I don't know why they have went for 27.50 notes. Maybe because that metal that they use, some material that they use, it has that frequency. I'm not sure about that. But if you want to, and if you go to next octave from 55 to 110, this is suppose A0, this is A1, now this is A1, this is A2, now 55 by 2, it becomes 22 and 22.50. If we space the notes by 2 hertz, then we can get how many? 22.50 notes from 55 to 110, okay? So we can, but in each octave we see there are 12 notes, but we can add 9 notes here. 22 minus 13, if I'm just adding 13 notes, 9 notes can be added. I just want to simplify it here, that in each octave you can just add the notes, but then playing the instruments with the fingers, it's going to be very difficult. It is going to add so many musical notes, and we cannot until we reach the sound that we can produce, or we can hear with the pitch difference, better pitch difference, instrument will be very, very, very long. So these can be added with software instruments, softwares, using AI technology or any technology, I don't know, whatever technology computer engineers know, they can just go for that and just, you know, build new instruments on the computer to play these additional notes in between. They can experiment with these things. Now suppose I'm going to build an instrument or decide the notes. Suppose it's 20, I'm going to start from 20 hertz, 20 to 20,000 hertz, 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz is human ability to perceive the sound, okay? Human can perceive the sound between 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. So if I'm starting from 20, so 20, if we double it, it becomes 40. So 20 minus 40, how much? 20. Now 20, if we want to just keep the difference of 2 hertz, and why we want to keep the difference of 2 hertz, because just noticeable difference between the notes frequencies is 2 hertz by the human average ear. For musicians it can be difficult, it can be even lower, but at least there should be 2 hertz difference at these lower frequencies for human ear to identify them in a better way. So if it is 20 and we want to space it by 2 hertz below 500 hertz, then it's going to be, how many notes we can have between 20 to 40? We can have how many notes? 11 notes we can have, including 20 and 40 note. But this 40 note we are going to call it as repeating note, because it's going to sound the same, it's going to give the same tune, right? Because we know that if we play any song from C3, we can play it from C4 also, and it's going to sound harmonious, right? So in the same way, these two keys, they sound very harmonious. So it is 40 hertz, we can have 10 notes, and this is the doubling frequency. Now if we want to go for 40 to 80 hertz, this is A1 now. You can call it A0 or A1, but now they call it as A0 here. If we call it A1, then it becomes A2, and I'm going to just call them A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, and not sharps. It is my instrument, so I'm going to design it like that, suppose. Now this is A1 for convenience, and then this is A2. Now A2 has 40, now A2 has 40, and then A3 has 80 hertz. The difference is how much? 40. 40 by 2, 20 hertz. 20, okay. So we can add 20 notes, but we have these repeating notes here. How many notes we have? If we double these frequencies, we have these notes, and the difference is 4. In between them we can add what frequency? We can add 40, we can add 42, we can add here 46, like that. So additional 10 notes we can add, okay. So if it is suppose 80 and now 160, what's the difference? 80. Now 80 by 240, we can have 40 notes, okay. In between them we have 10 notes every we are going to have 10 notes after every repeating patterns. Like we have 12 notes, we call 12 notes as octave, but suppose in the octave we have these 10 notes, and then we can have these further 10 notes, but in between them we can add another 10 notes, because we can identify difference between 40 to 42, but we have doubling the frequency. If we double the frequency, we get the 44 hertz. Likewise, if we will have 10 notes every octave, traditionally according to the traditional pattern, but we can just add 10 more notes here. If we just divide it by 2, we can further add every note after doubling the frequency, and then after doubling these and these, we can have 40 notes in between 80 to 160. So in each octave, with 2 hertz difference, we can add 10 notes till 500 hertz are reached, okay, till 500 hertz frequency is reached. Or in between 250 and 500, we can just go for 3 hertz difference, and till 250 hertz we can go for 2 hertz difference to keep on adding the notes in the computer software. So what I'm trying to say is that it's not fixed. You can start from 22 also, you can start from 24 also, you can start from 32 also, you can start from any frequency, and you can build your own instrument. You just have to double it, so that in traditional pattern we can have the similar pattern notes, and if you want to add additional notes, you can add them, because every octave we can keep on adding the additional notes. For example, C, this is C3, these are the frequencies, okay. This is the traditional pattern from C3 to B3, okay. So I have just kept this 3 hertz difference, just noticeable difference. Accordingly, we can just see how many notes we can add from in these 12 notes. We can add 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 17 18 19 20. We can add 20 notes. Okay, total 30 notes there can be there between C3. This is octave, but in each octave we can just keep on adding more keys, but the instrument will be very longer and it will be very difficult to play it, and that's why we just keep it traditional. But it's not like that. With computer technology, software technology, you can build new electrical instruments that can cover all these keys, all these frequencies, and you can just build your new musical and singing empire with all these. You can enrich this musical industry and singing industry with all this, because we as human beings can produce all these frequencies. Now this is doubling the frequency. Okay, we are doubling them, but after doubling them you can see these are doubled, so these are 32. Okay, but even in this 32 we can further add. See, here we can add between the difference is around 8 to 9, so again we can add, suppose 265 or 265 we can add. Here also we can add one note. Here also we can add 2 notes. Likewise, we can just keep on adding notes from octave to octave, and then the fingering pattern will be very difficult. The instrument will be very long, be it guitar or piano, and that's why they have kept this doubling frequency formula constant to ease playing the instruments. And why they chose certain frequency, I think it is because certain metals that they use, they start from that frequency, the lowest frequency that can be, they produce that frequency that can be lowest possible frequency that can be identified by the human beings, and that's why they must have started from 27.50 for the piano and for the guitar and whatever instruments they use. But I'm telling you that it's not hard and fast rule that you can just you don't have to follow the tradition always. You can just add your own creativity. You can just think out of the box, live out of the box, and you can just create your own system, your own world. You can add. It's not about completely discarding. It's very helpful as a basic pattern, and you can enrich this pattern with your own ideas and creativity and your brain intelligence. So suppose if we want to design a piano or any musical instrument that can cover all the musical notes which can be differentiated by human ears, starting from 20 Hz to 4000 Hz, because beyond that pitch difference ability is low for human beings. So from 20 Hz to 500 Hz, if you want to space the keys by 2.5 Hz, the difference is 500 by 20, 2.5 divided by 2.5. We can have 192 keys in between these frequency range. Normally we do have 27.5 to 500 Hz. We have 31 keys, but we can have 192 keys between around 20 to 500. But normal piano, it has 31 keys. Okay, from 27.5 to 523.25 Hz. So many keys can be added, almost more than double, triple, and 5 times more. So yes, if you want to add notes, musical keys from 500 to 4186, take it as 4200. So the difference comes as 3700. And if you want to place the keys or make the keys with the difference of 4.5 Hz, because above 1000 it is 5 Hz that is required, difference, just noticeable difference between the sound frequencies to be appreciated or recognized, perceived by human ears. So we can have 822 keys or notes. So we can just 192 to 822, how much? around 1014 keys we can just build on the piano. If they are arranged horizontally, it's very difficult to play them, and we cannot have the same finger positions, because each octave there will be addition of different notes, newer notes. So it's very difficult and it will be very complicated, and it's beyond human physique and your limitation of the human hand, stretching of the hands. One can place them vertically arranged, like these frets are there, like keys can be arranged like this, but still these are too many keys. So on guitar or the piano, what we can do is, how we can design them, we can just divide the instruments, as we have these ukulele instruments as concert, tenor, baritone, soprano. Likewise, we can go for low scale piano, medium scale piano, and high scale piano. Like we do have electric piano difference, and 4 octave piano, 8 octave piano, like that. So low scale piano will have this A0 to C3 keys, all the possible keys appreciated by human ears. Then A2 to 6, 5, 6, 6, A2 or A3. Then starting from A4 or A3 to C8. Like that, we can just build the pianos covering all the frequencies, so that, but octave to octave the fingering position will be different, so that needs to be taken into mind. The chords, we'll have to design the chords also accordingly, because new notes will be added, everything will be different, harmonious melodies. The left hand chord pattern will be different because of the new musical notes that we are going to add. But human larynx, though we can, human ear can recognize these frequencies, these many keys on the piano, it's like, it's not exact number, it's almost near accurate number. Then, but human larynx, it cannot produce all these frequencies from 20 hertz to 20 kilohertz. We can produce the typical singing range is 60 hertz to 1500 hertz, including adult and female voice range. And for different like baritone, tenor, alto, contralto, and sopranos, mezzo sopranos, and all, they have the further range, the classification of the range that people, musicians know it well, singers know it well, especially music directors and musicians, they know it well. So it's not that if human ears can identify these frequencies from 20 to 20,000 kilohertz, but still we choose to be between 20 hertz to 4,000 hertz, because beyond that it's difficult to differentiate the pitch. It's not like we cannot differentiate, it's difficult to differentiate. And then second thing, singing voice, though we can identify so many frequencies between 20 to 20,000 hertz, but we can produce only 60 hertz to 1500 hertz, and that too different for females and different for males and even children. So this, but if there is a range, a humans can produce sound frequencies in a continuous range, touching all the frequencies that can be identifiable by the human ears between these range. So that's the specialty of the human larynx as a musical instrument, natural musical instrument. And yeah, so we do have only 87 notes on the piano from A0 to C8, but we can have 1014 keys. I have already told you that it's very difficult to play it with these many keys. It will be very difficult to play. You can just, even if you make it such instrument, how you are going to play it, you will have to jump from this and to, and you cannot be so fast. You have to arrange these keys in the vertical rows, like 10 rows, 12 rows, and how you are going to, it's difficult. And that's why they have, limited it to 12. They decided, okay, 12 is enough, but you can just reduce it to 10. Like I told you, if you start from 20 hertz, then the basic notes will be from 20 to 40. There will be only 10 notes, and if you just go for 27, to 55, 27.5 to 55. You can have 13 notes, but they have chosen how many? 12 notes. And if you start from 30 to 60, you can just go for 30 divided by 2. You can have around 15 notes. Likewise, you can just build your own instruments. So don't think that there are only 12 musical notes in an octave. There can be so many. It depends from which lowest frequency you are going to start, and doubling them and keeping the same pattern in each octave. We call it octave, but actually I don't know the Greek word, Latin word that they use. 12, if the 12 notes making an octave, so 10 notes can be in the repeating patterns. If we start from 20 hertz to 40 hertz, that will be 10 notes, and from 40 to 80 another 10 notes, but you can add certain things. So these things are there to ease instrument playing, nothing else, to reduce the size of the instruments, to play it, to hold it. I hope you all means the musicians, music directors, and people who are really good at music. Their ears are good and they have little bit knowledge of physics and science, and doctors also. And that's the beauty of multi-talented people. They can come up with newer ideas. If you know singing, dancing, if you know history, if you can just dance, you can cook, you can just integrate all the knowledge and you can come up with so much. You can add so much creativity in each and every field. And that's why I feel like you should have insight, you should have wisdom, you should have focus, and so much knowledge from different fields, so you can integrate and you can just create certain new things like I did. I don't know, there were so many doubts, there were so many things, creative ideas coming to my mind, and I started resolving my doubts using Google, because I don't have books and I don't have time to go through books. I just went through the AI, that short things that Google displays there. So using that, in my mind I just imagined how I could make piano or guitar or any other new instrument using these things, and how I can just divide them into different scale patterns, because it will have so many notes on only one scale, like one octave, like that, so that it can have all the notes to ease playing of the instruments. Because if you have this much piano, all 1014 notes, how you are going to play 87 notes? It's difficult, like this is jumping in rhythm. So 1014, you have to arrange them vertically, then also it's time consuming. So that's why they have fixed it to 12 notes, so that you can cover so many pitches. Again, you can just, like I said, you can just choose 2 scales and you can add all the notes and keys. You can design your instrument, you can see which fingers, and you can develop new chords, because if you're adding new musical notes, you will add new chords, right? Basic chords will be there, like doubling the frequency and all these things, but you will have another key that will sound harmonious, additional key that will sound harmonious to the chord. So I'm feeling very good that after meditation, after concentrated efforts in my music, I really like to sing also and play instruments, musical instruments, as many as possible. So I'm really thankful to nature that this idea came to my mind. If I had time and if I had resources and I had a team of engineers, sound engineers, scientific people and computer engineers and people who are going into AI engineering, I would sit with them and discuss my ideas and how to make them manifest into this world, because I really feel like I should contribute in each and every field with new ideas, with new system that's going to enrich the existing system and totally destroy the evil system and unhygienic, unhealthy system, immoral system, and just build a new system, or enrich the system that's already healthy and moral, noble, to enrich it with newer ideas. That has been one of the aspirations, I believe in reincarnations. I have not experienced it so strongly that there is a proof and all, but I believe, I trust, to a certain extent. Believe and trust, there is a fine line. So in between believe and trust, I'm somewhere in between them. So I feel like in each and every life, with all my knowledge accumulated, as much knowledge as possible from every field, I should contribute to human society, or any realm that I'm going to born. I should contribute to my new inventions and creativity, and add to the existing system and enrich it with healthy, moral, noble ideas that can raise human consciousness, human morality, nobility, human or any other being that's higher. Even though I don't want to go down human realm, I just want to go up, because I'll just make another videos on them. Next video will be on music and history. Music, how I'm practicing, how I'm trying to improve my singing, because I do have allergy and cold. It's very difficult for me to master singing at so fast. And I do have the right techniques. I would like to share these techniques, and these are newer. These are, some things are designed by me, some things I got it from other YouTube channels. So I'm going to integrate them, and I'm going to thank respective YouTube people. I'll just share the links, because I feel it's unjust to the people from whom you learn and you don't give credit to them. It's not possible every time, because you have to search the in description box, but at least you should thank that you have got these ideas from other, and some ideas are yours, because it's a very egoistic society, and everybody wants to steal other people's ideas and contents and use it, claim it as their own, and it doesn't feel good. I feel it, for my conscience, the sense of righteousness that I do have in my own self, I don't feel it good not to give credit to the people, even if it is named, unnamed. But we should be very honest. That's what I feel. So I hope you like this video, and I hope there is someone that's going to act on my ideas and build a new musical system that's going to enrich the existing system, that's going to make new songs, new tunes with additional musical notes. So thank you so much for watching. Bye. Good night.